Wow, welcome everyone to day 2 of All That Matters. It's 9:15 a.m., so you're all heroes in a very small way. So we are going to be talking about Indian culture this morning, and it is a massive subject at a short amount of time. Should we just start with a quick intro from everyone about who you are and what you do?
Hi, my name is Owen Roncon. I run a company called BookMyShow. We're a primarily ticketing company. We also produce a lot of live events, live concerts, and such as Coldplay and Ed Sheeran that we did last year. We also run Lollapalooza in India. So we are responsible for quite a lot of the noise that's happening in India right now.
Mandar.
Hi, I'm Mandar. I run a small to medium-sized record label and a music publisher out of India called Times Music. We're a joint venture between the Times Group, which is India's largest media conglomerate, and Primary Wave from the US. We're a record company, we're a music publisher, and we also have an artist management division.
Hello, I am Peony. I am the senior editor at Rolling Stone in India. I basically cover everything these guys do, and also, basically magazine stuff, writing about music, pop culture. That's the daily job.
And I am Ed Peto, the CEO of Outdustry. We were acquired last year by Virgin Music Group, where I'm now head of international strategy. I've been doing business in India for 15 years and can confirm it is an incredible and inspiring place, but not without its problems. And I think we're going to discuss a little bit of that today. So I think what we want to try and do is talk about, yes, the cultural output of India, which is incredible by any measure, but then also the cultural industries underneath that underpin that and what the sort of gap is between the two things. And I think to start with, the sort of the top number, if you like, the media and entertainment market in India is worth about $30 billion, which actually is around about 5% of, say, like the US market. It's about half the size of the UK market, and it puts it alongside the likes of sort of Canada and Italy in terms of size of markets. So there's some way to go there. I actually want to start with a really, underneath that number, if you like, a really unscientific and non-specific question, a kind of a mood check, if you will. Starting with you, Peony, I mean, what's the mood of the market from your point of view?
I think it is definitely, first of all, confident, but also export-oriented. So, for instance, India is no longer just consuming global talent, but it is sort of shaping it in like different aspects. It could be from, say, fashion, to films, to cricket, sports, to music, and to even live events.
So it's a positive and uplifting kind of environment as far as you can see.
Yeah, I mean, considering leading like one of the music magazines in the country, the kind of people that have been approaching us and the kind of people who we've been tapping even for interviews and all the trends that we've been seeing, it's kind of looking like everything is coming together.
Everything's coming together. So, Owen, quick mood check from the live sector.
Extremely positive right now. It's going bigger and louder. One thing that we must understand about India is that we exist in layers. There are many layers in India, and cultural relevance in each layer is very important. I think what we're talking about is what we often refer to as the London of India, which is private education, private healthcare, and disposable income as well. In that bracket, there is certainly a lot of excitement. We're seeing ticket pricing that has tripled over the last couple of years. We're selling the most expensive tickets to some of the largest artists in India, in the world. We just finished with Coldplay last year, which was the single largest concert that Coldplay has ever done in the history of the live music industry. So I think it's getting really big in India right now.
Exciting. Okay, Mandar, on the sort of records and rights side of the business, what's the mood?
I think if you look at statistics and just to put a quant to all of this positive sentiment, I think India always dominates in sheer size and power, and I think the question that everyone actually has is, when is the hockey stick moment when it comes to actual monetization come in. And the only way to look at it is that if you study industry, you'll realize that it starts with the consumer first. That's one. Number two, our music industry has gone for the last 8 years on 20% CAGR growth year on year, compared to 5 to 8% in the US. But last year we had a 2% growth. Is that a drop? No. India's growth has come on the back of a free streaming economy. And that conversion from free to paid is really where the hockey stick growth will come in. And is that going to happen today? No. That's something that'll take 3 to 4 years to happen. So it is positive. I think we have a market-making moment. We yet are to arrive at a market monetization moment.
So, okay, well, let's just start digging into the details a little bit then. So India is 4.6 trillion streams last year, probably making it the third largest market in the world after China and the US in terms of streaming volume. There's 185 million people streaming music in India. The non-film space is now incredibly exciting to go alongside the always exciting film space. But there's probably something in the region of 10 million or even less paying subscribers in India. So there's this huge sort of gap there, right? So I guess to come more specifically into two parts, really. One is culturally, where is music at in India right now? And second part is, in terms of the commerce side of it, where is it right now and why is there this difference?
I think culturally we are at the best ever place a market should be at, which is the music, the artists, and culture, and consumption, literally in that order. It's a common myth. It's not 1.4 billion people into $1. That's not the size of market. You probably have about 750 odd million connected broadband people, out of which most of them are on mobile. Your consumption market comes down to 450 million odd. YouTube has got 550 plus million monthly active users. So you've got such a shitload of consumption at such a highlight. You also have the democratization of content. You have the distributors and the record companies and publishers, everybody tripping over. There's a massive independent music scene. There's also the sheer throughput of our film industries is higher than the collective film output of anybody else in the world, right? So all this speaks about is volume. However, with volume, we are a low ARPU market. For those of you who may or may not know, ARPU is average revenue per user, right? So India is never going to be a market that has significant per user value. We're always going to be a market that has a low ARPU but a high volume market. It holds the same for ticketing, holds the same for subscriptions, for media outlets, right? So today at this market-making moment where you have a significant amount of output in terms of independent music, film music and things like that, you have platforms and labels pushing it. You also, on the other hand, have a market-sized population on the GDP level that has too many choices. Do Indians not want to pay for music? That's a stupid myth. I mean, we paid for the ringback tone that you didn't even hear, right? You're paying for one Coca-Cola that comes in 10 minutes. So yes, it is a country that's plugged on, but we are about microeconomics. And I think the moment we move this whole narrative from India is, the third largest streaming market in the world to a paid subscription push between the likes of Spotify, between the likes of YouTube, I think that moment will start migrating. That's one. Number two, for a user, there are two things that happen. We've grown up seeing music. We've not grown up only listening to music, and that's because of our Bollywood culture. So you adopt to YouTube fast. So if I'm an Indian and I have a choice of where to put my 100 rupees, I may actually put it up on YouTube because I get the whole of YouTube in the same amount of money, as opposed to Spotify that just gives me audio. So we really need to find a value proposition, and I think once we find that value proposition, I think that's when the hockey stick moment will come through. Is it today? Is it a year down the line? It's probably about 2-3 years down the line, but it will come, no doubt about it.
Yeah, so I mean, there is this big concerted drive towards the subscription model, and as you say, I think that kind of myth of Indian people will never pay for it, they're price sensitive, and it is a myth, and we've seen this in China, where that was the narrative of the Chinese people never pay for music, and then suddenly China's had its hockey stick moment, and absolutely it's coming for India. I mean, on the live music side, I don't know if it's a hockey stick necessarily, but across sort of the live space, $2.5 billion industry grew 15%, but specifically in concert ticketing, it's a $157 million business that grew 20%. Where can this go? You know, and what are the blockers for this kind of rapid ascent, if any?
Right now, I think, so yes, to add to what Mandar was saying, we're certainly seeing that the layer that we deal with is willing to pay for tickets. We were always skeptical about our concert tickets, and I'm talking now, I'm talking 5-7 years ago, where a 2,000 rupee ticket or a $20, $30 ticket was a large ticket. And now we unabashedly put out $150 tickets and they go really fast. We also have grown up in the last 10 years where we moved from there's going to be a large ask for free tickets to very, very small asks today. I think, and the good news is people are not just paying for music, people are wanting to pay for experiences. The largest ticket sales that we saw across concerts were people who just want to come and be part of the good event of the year, or the big concert or the big festival. So we're seeing people wanting to pay to step out and experience culture. So that's the good part. I think our hockey stick moment is here. But what is kind of holding us back perhaps is the infrastructure, because I can sell only that many tickets. I can sell only that one concert. India is such a large geography. There are multiple markets within India. I think the more we expose those markets and grow purpose-built infrastructure within those markets, that's where more people will come out to pay.
So in terms of developing markets internally within India, so something like the Ed Sheeran tour, where I believe Shillong was kind of opening up a new market.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like we've got Post Malone this time in Shillong. That's a brand new market, really, that is paying for the artist, that's paying for the tickets and everything, And I'd like to add as well.
So just to jump in there quickly, can you explain how you approach a new, say, market in India like Shillong, and what are the goals and how do you go about achieving that?
Yeah, a lot of the entertainment thing that has happened in India has happened ad hoc and hasn't been part of a plan, but suddenly we've seen a plan happening. I think when we were doing the Coldplay thing in India, and we successfully sold out over 500,000 tickets, and there were still another 200,000-300,000 waiting to buy tickets. The kind of the economic impact it had in the city of Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is in a state called Gujarat. It's a dry state. There is no alcohol there, and it's the last possible place that we could have thought of doing a concert. But it's certainly not on our concert map at all. And if I had invited Mandar to a concert in Ahmedabad, he'd laugh at me, But this city had the largest stadium, the largest cricket stadium in India. It's a capacity of 150,000 seats. Coldplay wanted to do the concert there, and we were really skeptical, but we sold out 2 back-to-back concerts over there. The economic impact of that city was in millions of dollars that happened overnight. The government suddenly looked at us like, these guys are not fooling around here. These guys are actually doing some good business that we could capitalize on. The Honorable Prime Minister said 2 words. He said concert economy in one of his speeches. And now every state that is BJP run wants to do something in concerts. So likewise, the ones in Northeast have called us out. The Chief Minister has allocated a state budget towards it. We've got big artists like Post Malone playing there soon enough. A lot of states we just signed. Yesterday we've signed a deal with another state to create concerts in the south of India. It's really being seen as India is one of the youngest countries in the world right now. With a certain demographic who want to come out and experience life. They're seeing this as a great economic booster, an employment booster, everything, it's like this. The hotel gets activated, the airlines get activated, and so on and so forth. I think, so it's driving economics a lot, which is now opened it up to And you will see more and more of this. We're getting infrastructure grants, we're getting land grants, and so it's the right time to get into India.
So Peony, talking about, say, the young audience, in India you have 2.5 million people who are now monetized creators and influencers. They're influencing a massive $350 to $400 billion of consumer spend, which is mind-boggling. And Indians are listening to 20 plus hours of music a week, which is well above the global average. And all of this is happening largely on short form video. So not the music consumption necessarily, but discovery happening on short form video. So how are you finding, say, Gen Z, short form video, the creator economy, how are you finding that? Is it reshaping sort of pop culture in China? What's that driving?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like Owen said, we are one of the youngest countries in the world. And like, I'm pretty sure you've also all noticed, for instance, people going to Lollapalooza are in that age group. And even at like concert economies like this, you'll see so many people repping so many homegrown brands. So many of them are like getting new, like for instance, let's talk about cricket, for example. So it's not just you watching cricket live during that time. After that, it's going to be memed. It's going to be put into short clips, you know? And that sort of is turning all of our sports players, or like any industry for that matter, into lifestyle icons. For instance, if I spot like a Shubman Gill wearing like a homegrown brand, then I'm going to be like, oh, I want that too. You know what I mean? So that's how Indian brands are growing. It's driving culture. Even in journalism these days, for instance, I'm wearing this shoe, which is from a homegrown brand. And why did I buy this? It was because it was being repped by these really cool hip-hop rappers that I listen to on an everyday basis, which I discovered at Lollapalooza. So you know how it's all tying up. So music, fashion, culture, even Bollywood actors. I'm not sure if everyone knows of Shah Rukh Khan, Alia Bhatt. Alia Bhatt was the first woman to wear a Gucci sari on a red carpet abroad. So, you know, it's all kind of shaping up, coming together, and no wonder. It's not just creators' economy anymore. It's about spending, and like it's fueling an entire financial system right now, digital content.
And coming back to sort of a bit of experience in China, I mean, in China there's a period where Chinese generally wouldn't be seen dead wearing Chinese homegrown brands. It was all about imported luxury brands. And it became the biggest luxury brand market in the world. And then suddenly it wasn't. Suddenly it was quite cool to be wearing Chinese brands. And it's not necessarily luxury, but things like the EV sort of vehicle industry. And suddenly these local homegrown brands are incredibly cool. And that's happened in India as well. Is that correct? So 10 years ago, for example, would you be on stage wearing a pair of Comet shoes?
Not at all. I mean, in fact, streetwear culture is so big in India right now, like people of my age, Gen Z, we're all like, I think most of us are wearing homegrown brands that are like, so many brands like Comet, Almost Gods, Polite Society. I mean, these are rising up. These are like luxury level items for us that we rep at everywhere we go, honestly. Yeah.
And you mentioned the phrase lifestyle icons, right? So when people make it into the stratosphere of fame and celebrity in India, they become sort of whole industries amongst themselves, right? Where they might be famous for cricket or music or film, but the kind of economics start becoming the same around them, where they're lifestyle icons across fashion, across entertainment generally.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. Alia Bhatt recently, she just shared a recipe of like a breakfast item, which has become a staple for so many of us now. Like we get up in the morning and we prepare that and we're just like, oh, it's first of all, it's healthy. And second of all, I mean, we're following a trend. That's what Gen Z and creator economy is.
Very roughly, what is that recipe?
It's an oatmeal sort of recipe, which is...
It's oatmeal. There we go. I mean, top tip for everyone there for breakfast. Yeah, and I think we want to sort of come on to, as part of this, we want to talk about, yes, India domestically is amazing. In fact, no, sorry, I want to come back to something quickly here. So cricket, we've mentioned cricket a little bit, right? And this is also being sports matters as well. And it's not necessarily any of your immediate lanes, but it's interesting talking about the economics behind something, struggling a bit in the recorded music sector, live maybe taking off, but cricket is already well into that space of being a highly, highly successful format and IP, and I think the media rights alone for IPL, for example, $6 billion a year, making it second only to the NFL on a per match basis. What can each of your respective sort of industries, if you like, learn from cricket? Say, for example, taking into the concert space, do you sometimes look at cricket and go, well, how do they make this a successful multi-channel kind of commercial success?
Yes. So as a ticketing company, we sell the cricket tickets as well.
Sorry, yeah.
So IPL and the World Cup and stuff like that is what we sell as well on our platforms. 4 teams are represented by us as well. The one big thing that we did learn out of that is, look, while we talk about young India, everyone's optics are changing, right? So we've gone from HD to now 4K. And what I mean by that is so your sample size, your attention size, everything has gone much, much smaller. Cricket is a 5-day game that 2 teams play and may or may not have a result at the end of it. That's an actual cricket match. But what we're actually talking about is the 20-over format of it. That gets over in a couple of hours. That's the big seller. That's the entertainer. That's the big rush. That's the one that everyone wants. So I like TV, like broadcasts, like the online things that we're seeing. Your attention span is 9 seconds to 12 minutes, and that's the realm that you live in. I think the last bastion of music is the live music scenario, where people are willing to come out and actually spend half a day to go to a concert and experience that for 3 hours or 4 hours and then go home. That's the last bastion of music. Anywhere else, consumption will be in smaller platforms. So when we do concerts, we try and figure out how the excitement can be optimized, how the efficiencies are best, how you're serving alcohol and beverages really well. So we're learning a lot from that. But I think the biggest learning is how do you get it into a splash dash? What is the splash dash model of entertainment? And that's where it's heading towards it.
Okay, just conscious of time a little bit, because we need to touch on, yes, there's exciting domestic stuff happening, but let's look a little bit about India to the world. So there's a lot of conversation, I think, about Indian artists breaking globally, and I just want to touch on that a little bit. Like, what's the state of play, Peony, do you think, in terms of Indian artists actually developing outside of India and Indian music generally exporting?
One thing that I have noticed recently is I will say it's a process. We're not there yet, but some of the artists, it's not just about diaspora. Like, for instance, if you see Punjabi music, for example, those arenas are not just being filled by Punjabi audience. It's also like people trying to discover Punjabi music. So I went for a show in London, for instance, a Diljit Dosanjh show, and people over there were not just Indians or Punjabis. They were like from all over the world. So that representation for so many, like Malayalam music, Tamil music, Punjabi music, even English hip hop, it's all going global, coming together, and also like other artists abroad are embracing us. For instance, we've had so many amazing artists wanting to perform, like Lollapalooza is bringing Linkin Park, and Playboy Cardi. Did you ever Playboy Cardi wants to play in India? That I never thought that would be possible like 5 years ago. And I'm a fan. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mandar, what's your take on Indian music exporting at the moment?
I think the word crossover is a overused word. And export follows that. A crossover happens both ways. It is almost certainly never engineered, though all of us that wear our record label hats and music publishers, we love to fluff about how we're artists first and all that crap of the earth, right? The fact of the matter is that today when an Ed Sheeran did something with Arijit Singh, who's equally big, Arijit Singh is the #1 artist in the world by sheer volume, way over Taylor or anyone else on Spotify. That happened because he had interest. Martin Garrix reached out to Arijit on Instagram, right? That's what the management's mentioned. So we've all been engineering crossovers. It doesn't. And like my good friend sitting there who's on next, Sridhar Subramaniam, once said on a panel that we were sharing, that the sheer diaspora of India, what is it as a crossover? It doesn't mean just because we have 2 billion, 3 billion streams outside of India that a whole bunch of other, it's just that the diaspora is big. We need to have a artist-led thing where, like Owen said, I think the key word is culture-making, market-making experiences where artists feel comfortable to hang with each other, visit each other's houses. That's when magic happens. It invariably never happens at the record label.
I think that's a great point. Actually, it's an organic thing, and it's a mutual respect of cultures, and actually just on the live space, because obviously we're not from BookMyShow. We're not talking about the internationalizing of live music from India, but more about India becoming a proper global destination and hub for artists to come through in their prime, by the way, artists who are in the peak of their career, to come through, see it as a viable touring market, but also music tourism coming into the market. Where's India as a global sort of hub for that?
So just to touch on the Indian music part of it, I think the only part of music that is Indian anymore is the language. Otherwise, you're sounding international. It's hip hop. It's international music. It's just that the words coming out of that person's mouth are in a certain language. They're looking the part. From top to bottom, there's nothing Indian about them. It's like the old saying, the biggest band out of Ireland is not the Riverdance band, it's U2, So I think we've reached a point where we are being accepted as good music out of India rather than Indian music, so you don't have to have the sitar and tabla to go with it. So I think that change is something that we're definitely seeing. Of course, this is front-ended by the Punjabi boys who are coming in from Canada, and they're really creating a big stir everywhere they go. But when you look at a Diljit, you look at a Karan Aujla, you look at them, they look international. The optics are something that third generation of populations of Indians all over the world. That's what they want to see. They want to see us like that. They don't want to see us on our elephants anymore, kind of thing, right? So I think that kind of vision of India has changed. We've gone global. We look different. We sound different, and the exports are there to show. It's just one breakaway. Literally, we're waiting for that one big break. We thought we had it, but I think that was a bit of yeah.
So this being Back to the Future and just wrapping up the panel, so if we did this panel again in 2030, what would we be talking about, Peony?
I don't think we'd be calling it Indian culture going global. It's going to be so embedded that it's going to become a part of everyone's psyche and pop culture. Everything, food, clothing, music, fashion, everything. That's what I think, yeah.
Owen?
I recently heard the term iPop. I hope that's not happening, but I think young Indians are buying tickets, are experiencing life. I think that the festival scene in India is going to be far bigger than we're ever noticing. I think it's going to be the spot where stuff is being evolved out of in the next 5 years.
Brilliant. Mandar, what are we talking about in 5 years' time?
I think in 5 years' time, hopefully the hockey stick would have happened and we've all made lots of money out of a market that we've been talking about for a while. But we all have hope because China did it amazingly well in a pretty similar fashion. And I think this is not about music as much as it's about emerging markets and behavior. Every 7 years, there's a change in every industry. I think India is at that changeover place of 7 years. And as much as we all think short format video is going to make us money, it's actually the experience in the long format. That's really where subscriptions come in from. So I think 5 years down the line, hopefully we'll see a different industry. And I also believe that that industry the live and the digital industry will be equal and live may be bigger. It's a myth for most people that digital industries are what is driving growth. It certainly isn't. They're driving consumption and the peak, but you will see monetization across.
Well, that's a very positive way from everyone to finish this panel. So thank you very much to the panelists, and give a round of applause, please.